offense with Tyreek Hill, with obviously the best player in the NFL in Patrick Mahomes and Sammy Watkins and all that stuff. They're just so unstoppable. They're putting up all these yards. Andy Reid, the big man, calling all these plays. It's just so much fun to watch. I think to me, they are clearly the front runners to win the Super Bowl this year with that offense, and the defense is playing really well as well. The sky's the limit with that team, what they can do. But Travis Kelce, back to him, he's the man. He's my alter ego. He dances, he yells and screams. He does everything that I wish, if I could go back, I would play more like him off the field, like just having so much fun. And I had a good time when I played, trust me. But he's having the most fun, I think, out of anybody in the NFL.
He definitely is. And you mentioned that. Does it make you want to go back?
From that perspective. But once I get out in that field and someone hits me, man, I was like, I'm done. Football gave me great life, but it's over.
Hey everyone, welcome on into Drinks with Binks. I'm Julie Stewart Binks. I'm coming to you straight from my childhood bedroom in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I just finished my mandatory 14-day quarantine. Now I can safely be home here with my family in Canada. And for those of you who have been following every single episode of the show, which I know is all of you, you'll remember this particular area, this set as the JSB Museum, where time stands still. No one leaves and no one will. There's pictures of me from my track and field days, my figure skating medals. Why change anything? Let's just put some more Christmas stuff on the set. And also we have some nice goodies here today that have been sent to me from our guests. We have some wonderful pistachios. And with that, I'd like to welcome in Fox Sports analyst and Pro Football Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez here today. Tony, thanks so much for joining the show. We know how busy you are. How are you doing these days?
Everything is as well as can be in these crazy times. I'm just happy that football has we've hit a couple bumps, but nothing crazy. So I'm happy.
Yeah, it's been great. You guys have been able to broadcast, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But I noticed during the pandemic, you tweeted an awesome video of yourself in just incredible shape. I know that you are sort of well known for treating your body and mind like a temple. How have you been able to continue to do that during the pandemic, where a lot of people have sort of had a difficult time sort of staying in shape?
I have a routine, I guess. Every morning I wake up, I go straight into a meditation before I even open my eyes. And then when I get up, I have in my closet, because everybody works out in their closet. I work out there and I do my stretching, I do my push-ups, I'll do my sit-ups, I'll do my squats, I'll do everything right then and there and get it out of the way. It's quick. It only takes me about 10, 15 minutes for the workout, about 10, 15 minutes for the meditation. So that first 30 minutes is boom, start the day off right, and then go downstairs. And we have 4 kids, and one of them's in college, but the 3 kids live here at the house, and we do breakfast. We'll do whatever it is, and we get the day started. But that's how I start every day. So I don't, because otherwise, if you do it later in the day, you just, I don't know. For me, I get lazy, and I start getting lackadaisical, and I say, well, I'll just do it tomorrow, and then that's how it goes off the tracks. The train gets off the tracks. So I always believe it. Just start in the morning, get it done out of the way, and then go about your day.
Yeah, in the morning, you don't have time to sort of think of the excuses that you can build up later in the day. I know I've been riding that fitness train during the pandemic as well. So I'm totally here for you, Tony. And I know we gotta hydrate, right? What are we drinking here today?
Oh yeah, drinks with Binks. How about a spot of tea? This is green tea. It is daytime that we're shooting this. Otherwise, I would have probably had a Modelo or something a little stronger. But hey, cheers, tea.
Hey, cheers. Yes, let's have some wonderful tea.
That's good.
It's nice. I always like to tell people, you don't have to have an alcoholic drink to enjoy a conversation on this show. Maybe my past guests will have said otherwise, but it is a show where we have all different types of drinks. And speaking of, you need a nice accompaniment to a drink would be maybe one of, I didn't even realize I have all these pistachios back here. You're a big pistachio fan too. Tell me about Wonderful Pistachios and getting involved with such a great product.
Yeah, I have mine as well. I just so happen to have mine. Honestly, it's already open. It's about halfway gone. This is real. I love Wonderful pistachios, plant protein. I'm a big part of my history is as an athlete. I actually became a vegan for a while when I was playing back in 2008, I think it was, or whatever, for the Kansas City Chiefs. Didn't last very long, but I got into the whole nutritional part of health. And pistachio is something I incorporated back then, early on. And then when I had a chance to team up with them, it was like, hey, this is a match made in heaven. So I love it. Wonderful pistachios. All the different flavors. By the way, try the honey roasted flavor. They're like a great, they're amazing.
I already told my crew before we came on. This has not been opened, but one we have downstairs, because thank you to your team for sending me these. This is going to be gone. Like, I could just open this up and just, let it go right down the guzzle there. It reminds me of, and this is a very niche sort of thing I'm going to say, is like those nut stands in Times Square, Nuts for Nuts. I'm a big Nuts for Nuts fan, but it has the salty, it has the sweet, and it's so good. And so I got to ask you though, like when you have ones that have no shell on them, like, I feel like I could just eat them all at once, which is great. That's obviously a lot of protein, but like, what do you prefer? Are you a shell guy or a no shell guy?
Well, it depends on what mood you're in. You gotta, when I'm feeling a little like feisty and I want to feel a little tough, like, I don't know, like I'm a kid again on the playground, on the baseball field or soccer field or whatever, I'll go with the shelled so I can, just throw a couple in the mouth and spit them out. But if I'm being lazy or whatever, I'll just sit there, like you said, and just watch a little TV or whatever.
Yeah, these would be gone in a second. Okay, well, this is great because I'm always trying to incorporate more protein into my diet, because protein at every single meal is a good idea. At least that's what, all the Instagram ads are telling me these days. Okay, we know that you love food, and I asked one of your colleagues, who is a friend of the show, Kurt Menefee, and he told me that he's like, don't be fooled by Tony's diet. He's a big food guy. And that on Sundays you are, usually picking out the food. You are on Postmates or wherever you guys are ordering from, and you get to decide usually what the crew's going to eat. What's your go-to Sunday meal with the guys that you would want to order?
Yeah, well, I am a foodie. I love food, especially on Sunday fun day. It's football, so we kind of, all the restrictions go out the window, at least for me on Sundays, because you got to live life. You can't be that strict. And one thing that I introduced the guys to me, it's the best sandwich, or one of the best sandwiches in all of LA. It's from Honor Bar, and it's a chicken sandwich. It'll knock it. Howie Long is like, oh my God, that's one of the best things I ever had. The guys order it every other week. It seems like we're ordering the chicken sandwich from Honor Bar. But I try to go outside. I try to get these guys outside of their comfort lane and trying some new stuff. It doesn't always work though. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, that was a bad one. But I keep trying.
Well, I can imagine guys like Terry Bradshaw are pretty set in their ways after all these years of what they're going to have on a game day, essentially. But Honor Bar is incredible. Been there before with other guests of the show, Carrie Champion. So it seems as that is a local hangout spot for LA personalities. All right. So you've been broadcasting. I've really enjoyed, especially you guys outside when you're there Thursday nights. It's like the Fox lot brings me back memories of working there. How has it been this year working during a pandemic, where sometimes when we're watching you, like there is we forget that there's a pandemic because it almost feels sort of normal, but I know that it's not for you guys and everything that you've had to go through.
Yeah, well, obviously, like I said at the top of the show, we've hit a couple of the bumps, meaning that some games get canceled. And so instead of us doing the Thursday show, we'll have to do it on a Monday, or we'll have to go in on Tuesday. And then, like last week, I did 5 shows in 8 days, which obviously normally it's only 2 shows, Thursday and Sunday. But that's just how it goes. That's the nature. Everybody's going through it right now. We've all had to adjust. I've always said you have to be like Bruce Lee says. You must be like Walter and conform to whatever situation that you're in and just go with it. But it's been great. I mean, obviously the protocols have been there. Put your mask on, wash your hands, all that stuff. But hanging out with the guys on set, it's business as usual. Once those lights come on, we have a great time. Like we talked about, working at Fox is just the best. I feel like I'm not even working. I'm sitting there talking about football and hanging out with some really good friends. So it still is business as usual once those lights come on and it's football.
Yeah, and that's the dream, and that's what Kurt Menefee and, of course, Chris Myers, who's been on our show as well, mentioned, just the camaraderie amongst everyone who is on the set, on the panel, and that really shows through the chemistry when you're talking about the game. Now, we have a whole lot more we want to talk about with Tony Gonzalez when we return after this break on Drinks with Binks. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Kurt Menefee. I had a drink with Binks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Drinks with Binks. I'm Julie Stewart Binks, and I'm so thrilled to be joined by Pro Football Hall of Famer and Fox Sports analyst Tony Gonzalez. Tony, we are sipping on a little tea here today, and we are talking about some football right now. We know that, let's take a sip. We got to hydrate first. We know that everyone on the panel and everyone that is a part of the broadcast sort of comes with a different background, a different lens in which sort of they view the game. How would you say you look at the game that is in a way different from the other guys and how they perceive what's going on in the field?
Wow, that's a good question. Very profound.
Thank you.
How do you look at life? I would say I look at it through the lens of I always use food analogies. I'm always looking for analogies, put it that way.
Love it.
So like if I'm explaining, so let's use, for example, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. And they got all that talent on that side of the ball on the offensive side of the ball and Tom Brady, but yet and still, they're still struggling. So I will look at that and compare it to being at a buffet, at a really good buffet though. But you got all these choices. You know, at least for me, I don't like buffets because it's too many choices. I get uncomfortable. I don't know if I'm going to get cream corn or if I'm going to take the lobster ravioli or if I'm going to get the Chinese food. I mean, it's too much stuff going on. So I feel like Tom Brady needs to get out of the buffet and get more specialized and concentrate on what makes the best dish and what do you like the best. And then everything would be better. So that's how I look at it. I try to look at the lens of creating analogies to explain what I'm saying. And usually it's food. I love
That is amazing. That's like what I think of as well. I mean, it's like you and I sort of are like the same person, essentially, really. I just met you and you're a Pro Football Hall of Famer and I'm a nobody here in Canada. But I do that too. I love analogies. I think of like movies or scenes. It's like it makes it relatable to people. And that's what I've learned through like doing some comedy. It's like point of view and then relatable idea. Because as you mentioned, like maybe not everyone on a Sunday knows the ins and outs of everything or not all the stats sort of register with them, but they can understand your analogy with the buffet. So I would love to put you on the spot with one. What would you say is the Buffalo Bills? Like what food would they be? Because they were really bad, but they're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, well, probably. Well, I don't want to go there. It's too cliche. You could say the Buffalo chicken wing, which, all right, well, let's use that. Buffalo chicken wing, since we're in Buffalo. And the reason I say that is because buffalo wings are great. Everybody loves them. They're great. But I don't know if you can never really serve it up gourmet. Could you ever win a Michelin star serving buffalo wings, meaning the Super Bowl? And that's kind of my biggest question. Can they move from something that is just really good? Can they be great? Just remember
right.
That's.
Can they make it into that big party? Yeah, that was great. Yeah, Tony's Gourmet Wings. You would be impeccable in improv. I love that. I think that they can, and I think there's like fancy restaurants that have had wings at them. Regardless, they will this year because we're close to Buffalo. I think they're on the up and up. Back to you, back to broadcasting. You mentioned that you like to use these analogies on air. When you have when you've been doing your broadcasting career, who are like other broadcasters that you've watched, whether it's at Fox or somewhere else, that you've drawn inspiration from?
Well, and this is another thing, and I'm being dead honest. I mean, you got to look to the best. Who are the guys that have been doing it the longest and doing it the best, the most entertaining? Because it's not just about saying, oh, here's the cover 2 breakdown. And if you watch the defensive end drop out here, it's like, yeah, anybody can do that. Really, anybody can. It has to be entertaining. And I think the guys that I get to work with are the best in the business. Michael Strahan, obviously. Terry Bradshaw, obviously, Howie Long, obviously, and Jimmy Johnson, just being around those guys, watching how they take the football and then they can make it fun and bust each other's chops and be so relaxed and still give good information that it's not by coincidence that they're bigger than just football Sunday. They have other stuff that they've done. Terry's done movies. Howie's done movies. Michael does his thing. So it's so much fun to be around them and kind of look at them and say, okay, well, what do they do well? And I did the same thing when I played football. I look around the league. I want to look at who's the best and say, okay, what do they do and how are they doing it and why are they so good at it? And then maybe I can take some of that and make that part of me. So I get the best training is going in there and just working around those guys. And I love Colin Cowherd too. I love Carissa Thompson. She's great. I get to work with Michael Vick, Coach Wannstedt. I'm just surrounded by greatness over there at Fox. It's so much fun.
They really are larger than life personalities that are so much more than just the game and incorporate so many other areas of pop culture, entertainment, news, and so many other, like yourself with the podcast, and you've done acting before, sort of not just having to stay in one lane, but really branching out and doing so many different things. And speaking of someone who does so many different things, Chiefs were very good when you were there, or at least you were very good for them when you were there. But right now they are looking red hot, 12-1, got that AFC West locked up. Thanks to many people, including Travis Kelce. And do you ever just sort of watch him and say, all right, buddy, you've had a great season, but slow down, leave some of those records for the books. Okay, buddy?
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe about 15% of me is going, hey, man, slow down, relax. But the rest, I love Travis. Travis is like my little brother. I mean, when I see him, it's all hugs. It's all encouragement. I couldn't be prouder of the guy to come in after I played there. Had such an amazing time there. Had obviously a pretty decent career. To see him take that mantle, take that baton, and take it, and he's taking it to a whole new level. And to watch him, I'm encouraged. Like right now, I'm sure you already know that he's on the brink of doing something really special.
Yes.
First of all, he's gonna break. I think it's no doubt he's gonna break the all-time record that Kittle just set for most yards in a season by a tight end. But he's about to lead. He's leading right now. He's leading the NFL in most yards by a receiver. And if he can finish that's never been done. The closest anybody ever came was Kellen Winslow Sr. back in 1980. But in that offense, with Tyreek Hill, with obviously the best player in the NFL in Patrick Mahomes and Sammy Watkins and all that stuff, they're just so unstoppable. They're putting up all these yards. And Andy Reid, the big man, calling all these plays. It's just so much fun to watch. I think to me, they are clearly the front runners to win the Super Bowl this year with that offense, and the defense is playing really well as well. The sky's the limit with that team, what they can do. But Travis Kelce, back to him, he's the man. He's my alter ego. He dances, he yells and screams. He does everything that I wish if I could go back, I would play more like him off the field, like just having so much fun. And I had a good time when I played, trust me. But he's having the most fun, I think, out of anybody in the NFL.
He definitely is. And you mentioned that. Does it make you want to go back?
Yeah, from that perspective. But once I get out in that field and someone hits me, man, I was like, I'm done. Football, it gave me great life, but it's over.
Well, today, Tony's our Hall of Famer, but stick around because we want to find out who's in Tony's personal Hall of Fame on the other side of Drinks with Binks.
Hey, it's Carrie Champion, and I had so much fun with Drinks with Binks. She is clearly my favorite white person, my favorite white woman, my favorite blonde. Watch her show.
Welcome on back to Drinks with Binks. I'm Julie Stewart-Binks. I'm so thrilled to be joined by Tony Gonzalez, Pro Football Hall of Famer and Fox Sports analyst. And Tony, you were inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2019, but I want to know what's in your Hall of Fame. What are the things that you're so passionate about that you feel if you had to pick a Hall of Fame, they would end up being in it? So let us begin. Let's start with a movie you feel should be in Tony's Hall of Fame.
Oh, God, that's easy. It's the best movie ever made. Forrest Gump, Tom Hanks. It spanned, 4 generations. It covered Elvis. It covered the Vietnam War. all the pop culture, like the HIV, like it hit everything. It made you laugh, it made you cry. You learned something. Life is like a box of chocolates. So much philosophy in that movie. That is my go-to. If I was ever a professor at a college, I'm like a emotional, intelligent EQ professor. I would show that film. I would cut up a lot of clips from that movie. It's the best movie ever.
Wow, I did not expect you to say that, but I absolutely love Forrest Gump, so I agree with your pick for your Hall of Fame. Next up, what musician or artist band would you put in Tony's Hall of Fame?
Yeah, probably Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm trying to get somebody that does both. Maybe Sublime.
Yeah, because you're going to have to listen to them for the rest of your life because it's the only one in that Hall of Fame. So they've got many incredible records.
Yeah, probably Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Great pick. Okay, next up, what TV show is going in Tony's Hall of Fame?
How about Different Strokes? Different Strokes when I was a kid with Little Arnold. That was because I grew up on it. It's probably what I've seen the most ever. That is an outstanding show.
Okay, Different Strokes. And okay, broadcast partner from Fox that you work with that would go in your personal Hall of Fame.
I'm going to pick Carissa Thompson. She is
good.
She's great. We go back and forth. She's like my sister on the show. So much fun working with her because she keeps me in check. She doesn't let me get big headed, so it's great.
She's awesome. She's so quick, personable. I love that you picked her. All right. Okay. Next up, a quarterback that you played for. Who would go in your personal Hall of Fame?
Matt Ryan. He was. I got to play my last 5 years. Nothing against those other guys, but my last 5 years, he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game. And we did really well together. I think I did my best work with him at the end of my career. I've always said, like, man, if I would have had him in the middle of my career, I averaged like 80-something catches a year. If I would have had him in my prime, who knows what I could have done. We could have done together. Hopefully we could have won some Super Bowls, most importantly.
Yes, I think you guys could have. I mean, that talent together, definitely. But we won't look at the past. We will look at the future. And just one last question. We know pistachios are on your first ballot of Tony's Hall of Fame, but what other type of food would make it into the Hall?
Wow. If you're talking dying meal here, a slow roasted pork shoulder, 24 hours overnight with a nice little whipped mashed potatoes. That's the dream dish for me. With a little glass of wine. Would be great.
That is technically more than one type of food, but I'll give it to you because that's an incredible sounding meal. We got to head to break right now, but we're having a whole lot of fun here with Tony Gonzalez, Fox Sports analyst, Pro Football Hall of Famer. We'll have more on the other side here on Drinks with Binks.
Hey everyone, it's Scott Hansen from NFL Red Zone, and I had Drinks with Binks.
Well, guys, we've had an awesome time drinking and binking here with Tony Gonzalez, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Fox Sports analyst. We could just keep talking about food and allergies forever. I'm extremely hungry. Not only is he on Fox, but he also has his own podcast, Wide Open. You can get that on any platform that podcasts are available. And Tony, where can we find you next?
Well, I mean, Wide Open, every major podcast platform, like you said. I got all my social handles, the Instagram, the Twitter, the all that stuff. And obviously Fox, that's the only thing in the pipeline right now. So that keeps me busy enough.
Also in the pipeline are these wonderful pistachios. This is one of my favorites, honey roasted. I cannot wait to work for Wonderful Pistachios someday. This has been an awesome time here with Tony Gonzalez. Thank you so much for joining us here on Drinks with Binks. And guys, you know where to find us. We've got tons of episodes available on all of our social platforms on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at Fubo Sports. Make sure you go check out the clips and full episodes. And until next time, bottoms up, bitches.